In a thoughtless attitude, and at the same time cruel, this mother decides to abandon her daughters to start living alone with her new boyfriend. And one day, without showing any kind of feeling, she takes her children to a deserted place and leaves them there alone. And not even her daughter's despair made her give up the idea, and then she left, without even looking behind, leaving the girls alone and desperate. And with nowhere to go, the older girl asked her sister to wait for her in that place until she found something for the two of them to eat. So she went looking for help, while her sister was left alone waiting for her. After a long walk, she finds a market and decides to enter. Without thinking about the seriousness of her attitude, she decided to hide something so that her sister could eat. So, trying to hide what she had stolen, she leaves. And when she returned, she was surprised by the arrival of the guard who had already approached accusing her of theft. And he started to take what was under her clothes, but luckily for her, another man approaches to find out what was going on. And after listening, he replies that she doesn't need to worry, because he would pay for what she had taken and that would be under his responsibility. When the guard leaves, the man calls the child's attention, saying that her attitude was not right. She then apologizes, saying that she did it because her sister was hungry. But he says that wouldn't be a reason to steal. She says that she knew it was wrong, but that her mother had abandoned them. And so she begins to explain everything that had happened from the beginning. She said that her mother had met a new man, and that one day, her sister, after going up to a high place and not being able to come down, she realizes that she could not help her either, so she decided to call her mother in the room, who was lying with her boyfriend. When her mother heard her call, she got annoyed and went to see what it was, while the man stayed in the room complaining about them. So when her mother opened the door wanting to know what had happened, she told everything and the two went out to help her sister. Arriving there, the mother took the girl in her arms and left with them, but when she got home, she started screaming at her, saying that she was tired of that life, and that she was not even good enough to take care of her younger sister. At that moment, the mother's boyfriend also arrived screaming at the two, saying that he was tired of that situation too, and that every day was a mess between the children and his girlfriend, and that's why he would leave. So the mother desperately asks him not to abandon her, and as much as she begged him, he kept saying that he couldn't take it anymore, and so he left. When he left, she started yelling at the girls, accusing them of having ended their relationship, and then ordered them to go to her room immediately, as she would teach them a lesson for doing that. And inside, she beats up the girls as a form of punishment. A while later, while she was on her cell phone, her boyfriend arrives and she welcomes him all happy, but he gives her the following message, that from that moment on, she should choose between him and her daughters, because he didn't want to live like this anymore. And even though she objected, he says he didn't want to know, because if she really wanted to be with him, she should abandon them, and that if she really wanted to be happy, she should stay with him and not the girls. And preferring to stay with him, she says she would go get her daughters and leave them both somewhere, and so he agrees, and leaves the house to wait outside. And already in the car, once again, she repeats how tired she was of living with the girls, making both very sad to hear that from own mother. And in a place far from the city, she warns her daughters that they would both stay there, and looking at each other, they felt afraid, because they didn't want to be alone without their mother. She gets out of the car to abandon them. And if you want to know the outcome of this story, comment for part 2.